With the latest project of creating a mini Cartoon Network figure collection underway, there was no way I could forget about the Powerpuff Girls. The Powerpuff Girls being arguably the most iconic Cartoon Network characters out there. While, despite their original show and even rebooted series ending years ago, they are still easily recognizable among the cartoon pantheon. So in this video, I will show you my journey and process on making the Powerpuff Girls, but in figure form. Since, unfortunately, Chemical X isn't really available at your local Walmart. Before we begin, let me know down in the comments below, who was your favorite Powerpuff Girl? That being said, let's begin. So first off, the theory crafting phase. Before going through my fodder bin or going figure hunting, I would like to at least have some sort of basic idea of what I'm doing. Admittingly, this isn't really my first go at making the Powerpuff Girls. My first attempt at making them was more of an afterthought than actually putting some effort into making them. Seriously, I literally just grabbed some random parts and Frankensteined them together like Sid from Toy Story. Buttercup was loosely based off of the Fusion Fall design, but the other two were literally made with random fodder pieces. So, looking back, these aren't too bad, but my issue with them is that if I separate the figures, no one would really know who these characters are individually. So with that in mind, yeah, it's about time to give them an upgrade. Plus now, I would like to think I'm slightly more knowledgeable in customizing, so it's definitely a good time to give this another go. Also, there has been a large array of figures that had came out since the last time I first attempted this, 5 years ago. So hopefully we can make something a little bit more accurate to their character designs. I do remember that my original hurdle on making them the first time around was, well, everything. Like, how the hell am I going to make these characters? Initially, I opted for the Fusion Fall designs, or at least inspired by it, because unlike the source material, the Fusion Fall designs on these characters had them with regular people proportions, so they had basic human stuff like necks and fingers. So with some liberties taken, it should be easier to make them now. But now begs the question, what figures and pieces to use now? Bouncing around ideas with some other customizers, I landed on the idea on using Ms. Marvel as a base. The character has a skirt piece, leggings, and it's a smaller figure, so it could definitely work. My problem was... yeah. To be honest, it's not a bad price, but at this time of recording, it's retail price, and it could honestly be a lot worse, but since I am making 3 of these, I'd be spending around $75 to $80 just for fodder, and since I'm already a broke boy, let's see what else I can find. So let's go see what we can find at the good old Marvel Legends graveyard. Yo, $10 each for MCU Ms. Marvel? Yeah, I'll take it. Let's see what else we got over here. So yeah, $30 instead of $75. Oh hell yeah. Now that the concept and idea is there, let's get to work. Time to lay down the foundation and do some figure prepping. So keynote here, I don't think I recorded footage for this, since I'm mix and matching parts to attach the Polaris arms to the Ms. Marvel base. I'll be using the boil and pop method. So you can achieve this by using an electric kettle or microwave some hot water. Definitely do not microwave your figure with it. Just dunk your figure in a large cup of hot water and let it sit in hot water for like a minute or so. Just enough time for the plastic to soften up. I popped the arms off both figures and swapped them out before it cools off. Not too difficult to do, but it does get tricky when a figure has separate shoulder joints. But we'll cross that bridge whenever we encounter that. But for these female figures, since they have one connecting piece, the boil and pop method works without cracking the torso. After connecting the pieces together, it is prime time. I'll be using this primer by Vallejo. Primer is pretty crucial since it helps the paint stick onto the figure. Plus the paint comes out more even and vibrant. So doing this will save you several coats of paint down the line. Well, now that it's all coated in primer, I wanted to try again with acrylic markers. I found this set at Ross for like 10 bucks, and I honestly think I can get this to work out. But I'm pretty sure that any acrylic marker set will work just fine. To be honest, using acrylic paint would probably just work out better. But I did want to give acrylic markers another go since I have an easier time with brush control with a pointed tip marker. The last attempt with markers with my Invincible custom was actually pretty successful. The acrylic markers were pretty thin. A bit too thin. So it definitely needed multiple coats, but that's really no different with regular paint. But this is way easier to clean up and it's pretty cheap too. Well, the white marker is a bit too thin, even with multiple coats of paint and primer, so when in doubt, just gonna use Old Reliable with this game color white paint from Vallejo. Switching over back to the markers, it is pretty nice that I could just keep on painting the figure without dipping the brush back into the paint multiple times. Plus, just holding a marker like a pen gives me way better control, which helps painting a straight line across. It has its ups and downs, but it's still a pretty decent tool, especially for cleanup. Even with a brush tip marker, painting in between these creases of shoelaces is going to be a pain. I'm gonna go ahead and try my best to not paint the shoelaces, but if I do, I can always paint over it with white. Do this 2 more times, and voila! We have the Powerpuff Girls. I didn't have 2 more Polaris arms, so I just swapped them out with some other random fodder pieces. Still, not too shabby, especially since it only costs around 50 to 60 bucks to make all 3 of them. I definitely like these figures more than my first attempt. Even when seeing these figures individually, you can tell who they are. Yeah, let me know what you think. Who was your favorite Powerpuff Girl? If you made it this far into the video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to check out more Cartoon Network custom figures, go ahead and check out the playlist on my channel and stay tuned for more customs.